Today we have with us Mr. Anand Mohandas, Channel Sales Manager, India and SAC at RSA with us. Hello, sir.
Hi,
Thank you
Vanshika.
for joining us.
Thank you.
We have seen that cybersecurity has become one of the most pertinent talk points among the
Yeah,
CISOs today,
yeah,
and a lot of cyber threats are also coming.
yeah.
As of 2023, what do you think is the one of the most
Mhm,
important challenge
mhm,
when it comes to cyber threats,
mhm.
and how do you think we can solve it?
Okay. Thank you, Vanshika, for the question. And it's a very interesting question because there's no one answer for that. Okay. As far as I understand, the biggest threat in today's world when it comes to data and the data privacy is the visibility to the data, right? Who all have the visibility to the data, and how are we protecting that data, right? When it comes to the data protection, that's where the first line of defense is your authentication to the data that the user is accessing to. Then is where you're talking about the data in motion, data in rest, and all that stuff. But the first line of defense is authenticating the user to the data, right? And that's the place where authentication, two factor authentication, comes into picture. And later on comes the governance of that entire data. How are we governing the identities who is managing this data? And that's where the solutions like IDAM solutions would come into picture to manage the identity. So the best part here is that again, to get a solution on this, for this thread that we have, the biggest thread that we understand is the biggest challenge, is that you need to have a single platform where you can also authenticate the users with the critical data. You can also manage the data of the users who are using this. So that's the beauty that we need to have unified solution for everything.
No, I agree with you. I think unification is something which is gaining more and more importance. When it comes to this event, right,
Mhm.
we are talking about it, data protection
Yes.
privacy bill which has
Yes.
come up, and we are talking about the act now,
Yeah.
right? And it's one of the biggest important
Yeah.
issues which is going on right now when it comes to
Yeah.
CISOs as well.
Yeah.
Uh, how do you think that this event is contributing towards it, and
Mhm.
what's your has been your experience so far?
Good question. So, Data Protection Act, which is pretty soon, it's going to come, right? Now, the thing is that this is a precursor to the bill that is going to come. So, we are preparing ourselves so that we protect ourselves better before the act comes into the place, and because there will be a lot of things around it which will be a hassle. If you are prepared beforehand, that really helps, right? And in this case, when it comes to data protection bill, the first thing when we talk about data protection is your zero trust strategy. And in zero trust, if you see, the first line of defense when it comes to the user side is your authentication, and then it comes to the access management. So when you do not trust a person is where you're talking about zero trust, and when you authenticate with the different factors is where you trust the user and get the access to the user for the data.
I think that's very well right.
Yeah.
And regarding this event, what has been your experience?
It's a fantastic event because I see a lot of industry honchos here. And honestly, I was not expecting these many, but there are so many people, so much of discussion. And the best part is that we are meeting our colleagues in the same space. And that's something which is very interesting. And we can understand, we can learn from each other. How do we also complement each other? It's not just competition, we can also complement each other. And that's the best part of these kind of events.
I think that's really great that
Yeah.
there can be a this kind of collaborations.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting. Thank you so much for joining.
You're
Looking
welcome.
forward to see you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.